one of them
four,
was,
three, two,
I don't know,
one.
like 412, 415, and my holy priest is like 402, and he still out DP or out healed me by maybe 25 to 50%. And I didn't really look at like overheals or any of that type of stuff, but I'm pretty sure that I was just trying to heal stuff that was already healed,
Hmm.
which, kind of sucks. But I realized that holy priests are really AoE centric, so that's what I try to do is just bomb AoE heals, and I almost always target like the main tank to start the AoE heal off of. That way, I'm potentially maximizing my healing effort.
Yeah.
And my WoW is just jacked.
Oh, you can't make any changes to that new drink. Okay, I see you.
Yeah, I can't log out and I'm about to die. I've got no real control over my character. Nothing I do has an effect on the enemies on my screen, but they can hurt me.
Oh, of course.
That's amazing. And I'm trying to do I don't know how much this rift stuff you've done.
Not too
Uh,
much.
but it's fairly interesting. So, like, there's basically four phases of near the rift entrance, and then there's the rift entrance, and you get a total of four. It's either four or five loot boxes. Two or three of them are blue, and two of them are purple. And the ones outside the actual rift give you guaranteed loot next rift. And then inside the rift, you get a potential of a loot drop. And all of it can be turned into tier. Um, but if you go in like primetime hours, there's going to be about 1,000 horde there. So the boss with, almost 100 million hit points dies in like less than 2 minutes.
Yeah, I just missed one yesterday, I think, when I was on.
It's the
Maybe
top
I
of
did.
every hour.
Yeah, it's every hour on the hour.
I'm
Yep.
so pissed because I did the whole event, and then right as soon as the portal opened, I got aggroed by some things, and I couldn't mount and get up there in time.
Oh, that's crap. Because literally, once the portal opens, like a minute and a half later, the boss is dead.
Yep. Well, that's what it was. I ran up just in time to see the boss die. All these achievements popped in like local chat or whatever, and then no tag.
Yeah. So what's interesting to me is the one vendor for armor and weapons
AOE
is
incoming.
pretty much a full suit of armor and whatever weapons are good for you. And everyone else that is a vendor basically has a mount, a companion, and a trinket. And then a bunch of other cosmetic bullshit. Um, so it's kind of interesting. But the good news is all of it can be upgraded with the catalyst stuff if you have those
AOE
available.
incoming.
Oh yeah.
So for tunes that aren't um, tier geared,
AOE incoming.
it's a great way to get tier gear because if you have a 70 that has not burned through the catalyst stuff, at this
AOE
point you
incoming.
have at least 5 catalyst crystals. So if you're willing to do LFR, you get high enough eye level stuff, you could basically go to no tier to 4-piece tier and have a catalyst left over in 1 week. So it's a pretty decent catch up mechanism or altaholic mechanism.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, that's neat.
But I've been kind of digging on the evoker. I just when I look at the augmentation stuff, some of the stuff I'm reading just
Watch your
kind of
feet.
doesn't like the playstyle doesn't make sense. It's like, okay, I need to select a person, give them the buff, then do this other ability, and that's like on top of what I'm trying to do personally, but I've got to redo that every 12 to 30 seconds.
Yeah,
What's
it's
up, Keisha?
kind of. Hey.
Hello.
So I'm thinking like
Watch
the
your feet.
creating a macro for every button. So like you just choose your buff person for your singular person buffs, and that button would always hit your focus, and as an aug you would have to focus another DPS, and then that way by default no matter what you cast you're always buffing your focus target.
Watch your
But then
feet.
there's the just four closest allies buff, which is interesting because that would really force you to, depending on who you want to buff, you would want to either be out at your four hardest hitting ranged or your four hardest hitting um, melee. So it really kind of depends on what your group makeup is. So there's a little bit of complication on positioning.
That's actually mitigated a tiny bit because you can keep prescience up on two
Watch your feet.
targets, typically most of the time, and the Ebon Might prioritizes those targets. So it's only dependent on for two of the four allies for positioning, really, because you can hit those like your ranged. Like I was doing Psy and the Mage in that one group we did, and so it was they were always getting
So
hit.
like Cyan Tenzin, some random age.
I think he was a pug, but I mean, yeah, Tinsy as well. Tinsy's pretty good.
Yeah, so it's kind of, it adds a little bit of complication to what you're doing, but I can see how creating like focused cast macros would definitely assist on one of the abilities.
Yeah. Well, and the overall playstyle is it's not. Well, it's a little similar to Disc actually. You kind of have your burst windows there where you want to try and superpower people when their cooldowns are going off.
Right. How much of an overall DPS gain do you think for the party augmentation is for say a 5 man?
I really don't know. That's a better question for like Kikat and Sai because I don't really know. I haven't really paid
Breath
attention to what they
incoming.
do on their own.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like I think Kikat, we got her up to like 450k DPS on a pack pull.
Yeah, it's a big pull.
Oh shit! On her Death Knight or a Rogue?
My Death Knight, for sure.
Yeah, I think it's definitely.
Oh, that's so awesome.
You definitely
Breath
boost my
incoming.
damage too.
Even if it's for only 20 seconds, seeing 450k would be like, oh shit, look at me.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's cool. So did that mount translate over for the Alliance side for you, a different one?
It looks the same to me.
Ah, okay. So it's just the Griffin on either side.
Interrupt.
Well, that's kind
Yeah.
of a bummer.
It's kind of a bummer, but hey, because I thought I read that the cross faction mount would be different for each side. But
Well,
hey,
to do
honestly, it's a free mount, and doesn't really matter, right?
well,
Glad I could help someone else get another mount.
keeps you playing because then you want to get the other faction that'll be in there. I'm sure.
Yep. So at some point, a by the mechanic that we experienced tonight, you would want to play. Since I was Alliance, KeyCat would want to, or someone would want to play Horde, and they get the token that is only. You have to cast it on an Alliance player because that's how that works. So I got a couple drops, and then one of the drops was, oh, here's a mount, but you have to put it on a Horde player, which is cool. I
They're
mean,
making us be
I didn't
buddy
want to
buddy.
just give it to some random person that did the rift.
Was it a one-time use?
I'm sorry.
Was it one-time use?
Yes, ma'am. It disappeared
Ah,
out of my bag.
well, I feel special then. Did you get one too?
I did not get anything. I did not get a mount.
Oh, dang.
But again, I saw a news article maybe yesterday, day before yesterday, where some player in WoW got 1,008 mounts and was a world first to break 1,000. I was like,
Jeez.
that person might have an obsession.
That's a lot, 'cause I feel like I have a lot.
1,000
Like,
mounts?
I have like 500 something. I can't imagine having. You must have like every single one.
I've got on my mage, well, I guess it's almost identical for all my tunes, but I've got like 265. And I'm like, I never. The only way I would see all 265 with any regularity would be to literally
4,
have the
3,
add-on that
2,
randomly mounts you
1.
to something every time you mount. Oh, you know what it is? There is a Corehound mount
Upwind.
that when you look at the left side, he looks green.
Breath incoming.
And when you look at the right side, it's like orange. It's like the two-headed Corehound mount. Like each
Get knocked
side has a
upward.
unique color. Oh, and there's a new quest chain where you get a grappling hook while
Breath
you're
incoming.
in Nax. And you can do some secret shit in Nax of stuff that had been previously
Get
lost
upwind.
to time based on the how they update Nax when a new expansion comes out. You can literally go back and unlock some secret stuff that you can't get to normally by
Get knocked
crafting
upward.
a grappling hook and some stuff while you're in Nax. There's a pretty long article about it out there if anyone's into farming.
Breath incoming.
I saw that. I might do it for some of this stuff.
Yeah, I got through about
Get
3/4 of the article and said, man, shit, that's a long. I don't even want to read this until I'm ready to do it, you know?
Yeah.
How are the kids doing, Keycat?
Get
Oh,
breath
they're
incoming.
good. They are busy. Like every
Sweet.
day, I have to drive them to like 2 places. Swim
Get knocked
lessons,
upward.
then soccer. Then another day it's gymnastics. It's always something.
Awesome. Are they enjoying their summer?
Yeah, I think so. My mom's coming to
Get
visit from
upwind.
Maryland the end of August. So
Breath
that'll be
incoming.
fun.
Oh, cool. How far away is that from you?
That's a drive.
16 hours?
Pretty good drive?
Yeah, I think they're flying.
Oh, okay.
How's the heat down there? I keep
Get
reading.
knocked
I'm in a lot
upward.
of chicken
Ah,
groups, and I keep
the
reading about
heat?
all the chicken owners complaining about
Oh
their
my-
birds dying and stuff.
Oh my gosh. It is
Breath
about.
incoming.
It's not quite as bad as, like, say, Arizona, but it is an actual between 99 and
Get
102.
upwind.
But the real feel with humidity and all that is 110 plus
Jesus.
every day for like a week and a half.
You'd have. I would just bury myself because I couldn't deal with the heat.
Bro, it is dumb. So like the low for the night tonight will get down to a balmy 80 or 81. So like I
God,
get
it's like
out
hot as it gets here.
7:30 in the morning to get in the
Interrupt.
truck and head to work, and it's already 80 degrees. It's like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck? This is stupid.
That's too much.
So the other day I was telling Big Mama, when I got in the truck, it was real feel of 109. Yeah, real feel of 109. And 40 minutes later, when I was pulling into the driveway, it was a real feel of 113. I was like, this is so dumb.
What's going on with this world?
You know, I don't know, man. It's
I hate the heat.
we've literally recorded some of the hottest temperatures on record, and you know, I want to say I want to believe that we are actually fucking this planet up, because if you look back through quite a few hundreds of thousands of years through the ice cores that they do, when they can supposedly tell the average temperature of the year, we are literally have physical evidence that it is getting hotter.
Interrupt.
And there's a large part of the world's population that just says, we don't give a fuck. And it's like, whether you believe this, whether you believe the record keeping or not, you've noticed things in your area of the world, because you don't have to live in the United States to experience this. So, your area of the world, and like the monsoons, the typhoons, the hurricanes, they're all getting worse. Your summer temperatures are all getting the worse.
I want it
They're
to get
getting
colder.
higher.
When is it going to get colder?
Your winter temperatures are getting these really funky cold snaps that are getting worse than anywhere in recorded history. And not just man's recorded history, but the geological history. It's like, why is it changing? And back in the late 70s, or the 70s and the 80s, we started experiencing something called acid rain. And they said, okay, well,
Interrupt.
acid rain is caused by whatever it was. So we're going to stop doing that. And within 20 years, at least in the US, acid rain stopped. You no longer hear about acid rain in the news.
Interrupt.
So it's like, cause and effect. We're doing something and it's causing this thing. If we stop doing this thing, it stops happening. So even for someone who's not a scientist, who's someone who may believe left or right or freaking inverted infinity symbol, it doesn't really matter. You can literally see proof that there is a cause and effect in our atmosphere of, if we burn leaded fuel, it causes acid rain. When we go to unleaded fuel, the acid rain disappears. Doesn't take a scientist to figure that out. If you slap someone, it hurts. If you don't slap someone, it doesn't hurt. Wow, look at that. It's amazing. So why is the rest of this stuff so hard to understand when people are saying, hey, this causes this effect? I am literally dumbfounded on that. It's like, okay, so we know 1 plus 1 equals 2, so why aren't we saying, well, if I add 1 and 1, I get 3? No, that's dumb. People that are way smarter than me, and I'm not a dummy. People way smarter than me are saying this is causing this. Why should I not believe them? I don't know. That's my rant, and that's what I'm sticking to.
Oh. Sorry, I was beating the shit out of some things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep people from dying. This too is surprisingly hard.
Really?
Bro.
Yeah, probably because I don't know how to heal an druid.
Oh, you're healing on Daddy?
Yes.
Oh, and you're in a rando too.
I'm just doing the weekly.
Right.
I couldn't get in any keys, so I just first
5,
did my 2.
4.
You know what I
3.
try to do for the weekly, the mythics?
What?
Normally I get on a tank if I'm just doing it by myself, but if I have someone with me that'll be a healer or a tank, we just do 4 or 5
Killads.
Ruby Lives back to back. Because I really don't care about the loot. It's about getting the weekly done, and Ruby Life is literally the fastest dungeon
Jump
out
now.
there.
That's what I should
Try
have
and
done.
shelter.
And I'll put in the description doing Ruby Life for weekly. And it feels super fast. It's kind of boring, to be fair. Especially when I try to do it on, like, say, multiple healers or, because I end up trying to do it like 6 or 7 times a week.
Killads.
So that's, 28 times I'm doing Ruby Life in 1 week. But because it's so
Jump now.
fast, if you get an okay group, it's kind of manageable. But I almost never get all 6 or 7 of my guys done. I normally get 3 or 4 done and then be like, I'm just, fuck it, I'm not gonna get it this
Killads.
week. I mean,
Jump
other
now.
dungeons are great
Try and
if you
shelter.
have like a predefined healer, tank, and at least 1 DPS that can just raffle stuff. Like the Karva groups or the Zach groups. It almost doesn't matter what you do for your mythics. But the zeros just go so much faster because of how easy they are for decently geared people.
Killads.
All right, I got about another
Jump
15 minutes
now.
before I can do another rift. I'm gonna be AFK for a few.
Killads.
There's +2 that one too.
What's your eye level?
What's up?
What's your eye